I'm running out of cute intros for after games where we've gotten our asses kicked. So right off the top, I just want to say thank you to everybody who came out for the stream last night and hung out with Kyle. Um, he's still asleep, but I'm sure when he wakes up, he's going to tell me how he had the most successful stream that we've ever had in terms of super chats. So thank you all. Maybe I should retire. Is that the hint that you just want Kyle and you don't want me? Thank you all for coming out last night for him. I heard a little bit of the first period before I passed out. I just wasn't feeling it. I'm still not feeling good. The thing has moved to my head now. My eyes are all caked with goop. It's a mess, just like the Panthers. So it's apropos. What I can say, and then I'm gonna let Stu have his piece here. What I can say is what I heard the Calgary Flames announcers. Um, I'm assuming it was them. It wasn't Randy and Goldie, so maybe it was somebody else, but it wasn't Randy and Goldie on the highlights. If it was the Flames announcers, they weren't being overly homerish, but like all of the highlights involved them basically saying, "Yeah, Bobrovsky's struggling. He can't make a save," and they were sympathetic to him. But even they were like, "Man, he doesn't look right. He doesn't look like himself. He's not moving. His angles are, he's out of position." Not that it's all his fault, but at least Spencer Knight's given us. This team is bad, but at least Knight has given us an opportunity to win games where Bob is not. I they still good morning.
Good morning. This team is in free fall right now. It's we're going down, 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 down. And I predicted it yesterday when we did the Edmonton review. I didn't expect anything out of this game, and they certainly didn't disappoint. Um, yeah, Bob is pretty bad. There was one goal where he tripped. I mean, he looked, yeah, he like tripped on something in the crease and he fell backwards. It was like comical. And of course, this
Yeah,
was like not being able to stop the goal. He should have had that one.
right.
But we get him another shorty, and you could see Ekblad, how slow he is, because there was a mad dash.
Yeah,
I'm just Maurice has to go.
and that's the
Maurice has to go. I mean, the thing with Zito is if he fires him, then he's admitting that he made a mistake. And it's tough for people to sometimes make the
right,
wrong decision
right,
and then have to admit that
right.
they made
And
the wrong decision.
and you could fire him, but then you know, excuse me, who? If you can't get Trotz right now, if Trotz is like, yeah, no, I'm good. Thanks for asking. Then you could fire Maurice or what? I mean, what are we gonna do?
Yeah,
Coach
I
the
mean
team remote? I
no,
mean, you're
that's
the
the thing.
GM, I'm the coach, so I have to coach from remote. I don't know what.
They got to have somebody lined up.
Right, right,
What
yeah,
they should do is they should have a puppet and have Quenville coaching the team like Biden. It's like
oh, don't, you're gonna get the video demonetized. Stop. Don't go there. I don't want to have to edit anything out. That's enough.
okay, no, but seriously, I don't know who would be the alternative.
Right.
Um, so let's not even talk about it. But Zito would have to have somebody lined up before he pulls the trigger. But
Yeah.
you think Vinny is watching games go,
There's one problem with the fire Maurice right now immediately thing. And that is, despite our best attempts, we're still only 2 freaking points out of a playoff spot.
Yeah, but it
I'm not saying I'm making that argument for him, but he would be able to make that argument. You know what I mean? A pro Maurice person is going to be, we're only 2 points out of a playoff spot. And it's kind of difficult to argue against that, because that was the argument we made for Gallant when he got fired. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, but the team
Yeah.
is
No,
awful. The team looks awful.
This is bad.
They
This is
just
bad.
they yeah.
Yeah. Ways to fix this. Ways to fix the biggest issue we have right now, aside from Maurice, and maybe not the biggest issue, but an issue is, look, that first goal last night on the shorthanded breakaway 2-on-1, whatever you want to call it. Last year, Bobrovsky makes that save. Now, this is what I get into when I say it's, when people say, well, it's not Bob's fault. It's not about fault. Last year, if Bob allows that goal, it's not Bob's fault. A 2-on-1, the odds are you're going to allow a goal. But last year, he was making those saves. You need your goalie to make the save, to make the spectacular big saves. That's, if they don't, it's not, that doesn't mean the goal is their fault. People argue fault, and that's got really nothing to do with it. If you need your goalie to make the big timely saves. I mean, it was their first shot on goal, dude. It was,
Of course it was.
and yes, there's blame to go around why that's happening, and that's an entirely different package that I'm totally willing to look at and blow up. But last year, Bob makes that save and gives the team a boost energetically, and things, went differently. And that's not the only reason, but that's part of it. But the bigger question is, what the hell is wrong with Bob? Now, I've given my theory about aging players and how they usually throw all of the gas that they have left into the tank into this one final spectacular season. Luongo did the same thing, okay? And then their bodies, boom, done. And it's a rapid drop off. And how many more games before we think that's what we're seeing with Bob? That's what I think. I don't want that to be the case, but boys, it's starting to look like it, because how long can a guy be playing in a slump, so to speak, before you start having to call it that maybe he poured everything he had left in his body into last season? What, he's 34, right? I mean, it's not like he's just 31, right? Am I right? Let me look at that.
Yeah.
Um, that's not young.
Okay, so listen, so
Sergei Bobrovsky.
along those lines of how bad he's playing, the question is,
Yeah,
if
34.
the slim chance, and I say slim, that we can trade him, who's going to want him? Who's going to take him?
We're stuck in this pickle because it's very much like the Yandel thing. With Bob, we can either figure one of two things. We can either pay him $10 million a year for the final 3 years of his contract and have him hurt the team, or pay him $5 million a year for the final 3 years of his contract and not have, and just give the job tonight and move forward. Either way, but this is the thing. This is nobody's fault. The moment we signed him to that contract, we created this problem. Whether it was this year, 34 years old, 35, whenever it was, the moment we signed him to that contract, we created this exact problem. And this is just earlier than we thought, because he was so good last year. But in the depths inside, we all knew, well, we'll have to deal with that eventually. Well, I think eventually might be here.
Well, Talon got away with it because who, signs the checks. He had to okay it.
Right. Yeah. But that's not the only problem. And if you start to add it up, especially now, okay, I mean, missing Barkov is an effect. We can't call it not an effect, okay? So we don't have Barkov out there. We don't have Duclair out there. Bob is, I don't know if I want to call him done or what yet. But he ain't Bob. That ain't Bob anymore. Spencer Knight's out there doing everything he possibly can, but he needs more games and he needs more, he needs to learn how to close out some games here. He's 22. I'm willing to ride with him through some bumps and bruises because of what he has the possibility to turn into. Um, Ekblad is either still hurt or he's done, and I'm hoping he's still hurt. But the dude is clearly light years slower than he was even last year. How many times have you seen him skate into the zone with any speed, put the brakes on, and stop? And I mean, we've seen him move like that before. And now he's like looks like Yager out there.
Ekblad's a liability right now.
Right. So
Every time he's out there, and I said it the other day, I don't even want him on the power play. That's why that shorty was scored. I mean, granted,
right.
he was just one guy, but
Yeah.
you could see in the foot race down the ice, how slow he was.
Right. Yeah. No, he was 2 steps behind this man, and that was
So
the guy that scored.
he shouldn't
I know.
Maurice is not going to listen. That's why he's got to
Well,
go.
now in Maurice's defense, a little bit of Maurice's defense. He walked in to how Bob and Ekblad played last year, right? Okay. He walks in thinking, I got this anchor and goalie. I've got a number one defenseman. And 20 games in his defense, he's probably looking around going, well, shit, what am I supposed to do now? My backup
Make
is a kid, and
make it make
we
adjustments.
traded the wrong guy because at least Uyghur can skate. You know what I mean? So I'm not happy with Maurice, but he also, he's dealing with some things that none of us expected he was going to be dealing with. Bob
So
was the only reason. Bob and Verhage were the only reason we beat the Capitals, and all of a sudden now Bob sucks. You
right,
know,
just like Burnett didn't make adjustments. A good coach makes adjustments.
well, those are things that are tough to adjust for. Your best goalie and your number one defenseman are now
Well,
ass. I mean,
it's a no brainer with the goal.
yeah.
You
Well,
play
Bob
night. You
had to
play
play last night. Yeah,
night becomes Vasilevsky.
right. I mean,
Vasilevsky plays 90% of Tampa's
yeah,
games.
yeah.
They
We're gonna
just
have to.
ride him and ride
Right,
him and ride him. Spencer
right.
Knight's 22, man,
Yeah,
or 21, whatever. He's resilient. He's young. He's got
yeah.
energy.
No, I'm
Bob becomes that backup that you have to play, like in a
right
situation like last night. But
for $10 million, bro. For
yep,
for what?
and I predicted that a year ago or whatever when we first started on this. When I first
Well, it
started
was
with you, I
2 years
said
ago before he.
eventually
Yeah, yeah,
a year or
yeah,
two,
yeah.
that's what's going to happen.
Right,
Because,
right.
like I said, number one, he's not waiving his no
Oh,
trade.
and
He's not doing that. He's going to
that's the other
retire.
thing.
He's going to retire in South Florida, and that's because of the wife and the kid.
Look,
Okay.
Ekblad, the same thing, bro. He's got a no move clause. The first few years of somebody clued me into that. I forget who it was. The first few years of his contract did not, but it kicked in last year. He's got it. So we could scream trade Ekblad all we want. If Ekblad, Bob, Ornquist, we can't do anything unless they agree.
Yeah, you know where Ekblad would go?
We're so screwed.
Ekblad would go to Detroit. He's from Barrie and Ontario, which is right over the bridge.
Does Calgary have anybody? I mean, because he definitely would go there, right? You know.
Told you Huberdeau was going to score last
Oh,
night.
you knew that was so freaking coming. And Uyghur got an assist because he took a shot and one of the rebounds ended up being one
Huberdeau
of the
was so
freaking.
happy when he scored.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you could see it was coming. I mean, I'm not even tickled a little bit. Like it's just a mess. And there's so many things wrong with the team. Like everybody on Twitter has got a different idea of what's wrong with it, and everybody's right because it's just it is
What
what
does
I
this
said.
re- what does
It's
this
strengthened
remind
to
you
you.
of, Eric?
This reminds me of the Bugner years, man. That's what. Oh, you're going somewhere else. Oh, you're
Gonna
going
go
back to
back
when
in
to
time.
when to when we had Pavel and we couldn't put a team around him. No, we're going even further. We're going further. Are you talking to Stu Barnes for? Yeah,
Yep. The chemistry is off as much as I hate to say it. Now again, we had to make that trade. In my opinion, we had to make that trade because of cap issues.
yeah,
We couldn't get both of them done. All right. I still say, all right, listen, it doesn't matter what I say. The trade's done already. Okay. We
right.
can't undo it. But Billy Lindsay on this podcast was talking about that Stu Barnes and Jason Woolley for Chris
Chris
Wells
Wells.
trade
Yeah,
and said how it affected the locker room.
right, right. No, that's
That's up.
true.
That's up there. That's
Right.
up there as far as what's going on. As far as I can see, they just don't look like they did last year. They're not having fun right now.
No,
You
no,
could
they're
see it
definitely
on their faces. They're pressing, and they weren't pressing last year. They were just flying. They
right.
were pretty much every game, not every game, but pretty much most of the games. They were flying, man. 4 or 5 goals
Right.
almost every night.
Yeah, no, I know. I know.
Almost every night.
I know.
It didn't matter if Bob let in a few.
Right. Right. Well, that's
Because
the problem.
we
Right.
had the offensive firepower,
Yeah.
which we don't have this year. And Duclair is not the answer. And I got news for you. Barkov's not the answer.
No, oh.
There's something systemic going on with the team as a whole. Um, I mean, how many bad passes? How many we had at least two 2-on-1s that I saw. There was Stahl and I think it was Stahl and Heponiemi. And then there was another one with Reinhardt, I think. There was both 2-on-1s, and
We've
we didn't
had
even
one
the guy didn't even the passes were intercepted.
we had one run of play that looked like we were going to get it turned around. And that was when Ekblad was hurt and Bob was sick. And that's when Spencer Knight got a shutout. That's when all of a sudden we were only allowing like a couple goals a night. And since Ekblad has come back,
Yep. Since Ekblad's come back, so that tell
right.
what were we better without him?
Yeah. I put out it. I did the stats 3 games ago. Before 3 games ago, I did all the stats. I took empty net goals into consideration and everything, and we were 3 goals of a game better without him than we were with him. And now I can't imagine what it is. So, and and somebody on Twitter was like, "You can't be telling me you think this team is better off without Ekblad." Yes. I think yes. Forsling,
I
Montour, Mahura, Gudis, Kiersted, and Stahl.
Yep.
Or I mean, it was better. It was
Yep.
better.
Yep.
It was better.
Yes, it was.
Because he was forced to put either Forsling or Montour out there in those situations. He didn't have the Ekblad option, and that's what his. And I
And
get it, right?
he's still playing Forsling and Ekblad together
Well, that's the thing is he's still forcing.
instead of Forsling and Montour
Right.
as the number one. See, Ekblad is because of his status and salary and whatnot. Like Maurice thinks he's got to play him
Right.
on the first pair, and he
Right.
doesn't.
Right.
Forsling and Montour should be top pair, getting top minutes.
Right.
Forsling and Montour should be on the power play.
Right.
Forsling and Montour should be the two guys that are in overtimes.
Right.
Okay, Ekblad is just
And look,
degressed.
right.
He's
And
he doesn't look anything like he did at the
no,
beginning of last year.
no, no, no. And so it's just little things like that. Little, all these little things have added up. And
Skating is everything in hockey.
well,
The
yeah,
game
I
is
mean,
so fast,
right.
and you can't have look at Yager during that Islander series. That was it.
Right.
You could
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
during that series, Yager was done.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yager was done. He was slow as molasses.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I don't know
I
where I
don't
don't know
I
what
don't
he's
know I
doing.
don't know what I don't know what the fix is in the short term, and I don't know what the fix is in the long term, because we're fucked with this, with these contracts.
And that's the thing. That's the thing is like
$17.5 million.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's two guys.
Yeah. That's two guys. Well,
And again, blame Dale Talon. I keep coming back to saying, that was,
do
I
you
think,
think
more than just a player thing. I think that was like a big, PR, big name, blah, blah, blah,
do
you
you
know.
think do you think that Vinny calls Q and says, "Hey, you feel like kissing some ass to Bettman to come back?" I mean, if any team was going to give him his second chance, if he was going to try to do that, it would make more sense for him to come back to Florida where he's going to have more support than any going anywhere else. You know what I mean? I mean,
Of course, but I don't think Bettman's gonna let him back in.
well, Bettman has said he would need to quote talk to him. I've always said that, um, and I forgive me, I forget the kid's name, so I don't want to get it. Kyle Beach. I've always said that if Q could have a discussion with him and get the kid to say, "Hey, look,
Kyle
I,
Birch, I think is his name.
Beach. I think it's Beach. If Q could have a conversation with him and get Beach to say, you know what, we've talked, I've forgiven him, let the man, you know what I mean? If Q could get that, then then have him coach on Thursday. You know you know what I mean? I think I've said that since the beginning that I think that's what it would take for anybody to be able to let him back into to coaching again. He would need quote permission from the.
Quenville want to even come back.
Oh, that's another story. That's another story, right? It's not like he needs it. Um,
Doesn't need the money.
but he's got to be itching. You got to wonder if he's looking at this team going, God damn it, Maurice, just just this, that, and this is there. Go. You know what I mean? You got to wonder if he's sitting at home screaming at the TV, you fucking more, you know what I mean? So you never know, man. I mean, we're reaching, but geez, we didn't.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
we're you and I are right now, we're spinning in circles because we have nothing to say. We
there's
just,
nothing because we're stuck.
we're watching the Panthers in free fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what is it
What
now?
is it?
Six
8?
out of 7 games we've
No, I
lost.
think it's like 8 out of 10 or something. I think it's bad. I mean, we're like
We
3 games
started off
below
the year
500.
5-2, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're 10-8-4, or I mean, it's bad.
No, we're not. We're
I had
like
this.
10-10.
Let me see. Yeah, no, you're right. Maybe 10-9. Oh, come on, phone. Um, we're 10-9-4. Yeah, so we're
All right.
10-9. We're 10-9-4. We have only one more regulation win than the Sabres and only 2 more than the Senators. But I mean, every look between the Lightning and the Canadians, there's only 4 points difference. So That's the other thing to this is just like, and I said this at the 20 game mark. If any of these teams, Lightning, Red Wings, Panthers, Canadians, any of them could just get on a 4 or 5 game win streak, they're going to shoot up to the third position and be ahead of everybody because everybody's playing like ass. The
Right, but
last, the Lightning in the last, let's just the Lightning in the last 10, 6-4. The Red Wings, 5-3-2. The Panthers, 3-4-3. The Canadians, 6-4-0. So in terms of losses, everybody's got 3 or 4 in the last 10. Everybody's ass other than the Bruins and the Maple Leafs. And if you go over to the Metro, all right, you've got the Devils and Islanders and the Hurricanes. But then past that, you've got the Penguins, Rangers, Capitals, Flyers that are within playoff reach. And everybody's lost 2, lost 3, 1-1, 1-1. The Flyers are 1-6-3. The Capitals 4-5-1. The only team decent in the last 10 are the Penguins at 6-2-2. So on one hand, we're in a free fall, but we're not really losing any ground because everybody else sucks too. So that is one little bit of light of hope if somehow they can get this turned around to even just win 2, lose 1. I mean, just win 2, lose 1, and we're going to be in the playoff spot unless somebody else gets hot. And I know we're not playing like playoff hockey, and I'm not saying that. I'm saying that is there's still that branch to hold on to before everybody just panics that the season's done because we're 2 points out. You know what I mean? But I don't know what I mean when they asked him and he said, what's it going to take to get this team back on track? And he said, get Barkov back. I mean, what? That any support I had left for this dude as coach just flushed it in that moment. So that's it.
yeah,
We suck again.
there's no reason to go over the game.
No.
We all
It's
saw it.
there's
It's the
so much
same.
fault
Listen,
to go around. Yeah.
it's the same old podcast. We've been talking about this for like the last 4 games.
Yeah.
They're really, really bad right now.
Right. Right.
Really bad.
So let's see the schedule. What do we got?
I think we got Vancouver and then we got Seattle, right?
So God, we got Vancouver tomorrow at 10 o'clock at night. And then Saturday at 10, we got the Kraken, who are probably going to
Love the Kraken.
The Kraken are going to beat the living bejesus out of us, probably.
0-2 against the Kraken.
Oh, jeez. Are the Canucks any good right now? I don't think they are. Let's look over here in the Western Conference. Vancouver is 9-11-3. They're like a game worse than us. So, oh yeah, man. And then we got the Jets, Red Wings, and then like I said, man, they better get good quick. Canucks, Kraken, Jets, Wings, Lightning, Kraken. I mean, Spencer Knight's got his work cut out for him because I mean, dude, Bob, man.
The way we're
God.
playing, we're lucky if we win one of those games on a fluke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, listen, we could have won the Edmonton game 4.4. That would have been fun. That would have been good.
A couple of those goals Bob gave up last night weren't his fault. I mean, the same thing happened to Spencer. You know what I mean? Where like the puck is coming free, and on the was it the 4th goal, or the 4th or the 5th goal, Ekblad pulled a Uyghur and chased the puck into the boards and completely left his man open, and it was just like 3.8 seconds where Ekblad was going towards the man. The puck came out past him, and his man was like wide open, like 3 feet from Bob, and he just roofed it. And just no goalie's going to stop that shot. So there's a few that were not Bob's fault. I mean, it was definitely. It's just bad. Is there anything good? Is there anything good? Epidemi almost had a nice pass. That's
There were no silver linings last night.
no, man. No.
So
All right.
yeah,
Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go douse my eyeballs in salt water and lemon juice or something, man. Are all screwed up. Uh, all right.
big truck
Oh God.
on.
I can't believe this.
I didn't watch your recap last night.
I
So
didn't have a I was
okay.
asleep. I was out, man. I was not in good shape. I
All
thought I was
right.
gonna make it.
Well,
And then
listen, I'm not over this bug yet either.
yeah.
So
It's nasty. If we
yep.
had what I mean, then I mean Barkov has been sick for how long, so I don't feel so bad. But it just the symptoms rotate, you know what I mean? It's a nasty, whatever the hell it is. I don't know.
I got news for
You
you.
gave it to me over Zoom, believe it or not.
Barkov wouldn't have changed the outcome in this stuff.
No,
There's
man.
I mean, you just, again, last comment. You just look at the team as a whole, something's off. It's off. It's just like this, the team itself, the entity, it's
Right.
off.
Yeah. Yeah. All right,
All
guys.
right. Yeah.
Appreciate all the support. And I have a feeling we will be back Friday morning. God, please don't. Can we at least beat Vancouver, because we know what's going to happen Saturday against the Kraken. Give us a false hope when, like against the Bruins. Remember that? Remember that like 6 weeks ago when we beat the Bruins and thought we
Yeah.
had things
Just
figured
like,
out?
how did we do that?
The Bruins did not bring their A game, man. There's
Nope.
no, I mean, I haven't been watching them. A couple of people that have, they're like, yeah, the Bruins don't have it tonight. They did not bring their A game that night. So, all right, people. So this is a question for you, Stu. Last thing. So, if we were the ones that started the Fire Maurice petition, do you think we could still get Randy on the show? Probably not, right? Probably not. So we're handcuffed a little bit, guys. We're handcuffed just a little bit. Yeah. Stu's silence says it all right there. All right. I'm gonna go back to bed now. See you.